Welcome to the Shameless Plug with Crimson Vibes and Denise's Creative Mind.
We spotlight the real, no shame in the game. Two queens with the mic calling out your name. From side hustle dreams to headline steam, we raise your voice, we build your team. We don't whisper, we amplify. Your story's power can't touch the sky. This ain't luck, it's divine design. You show up and we align. This is the Shameless Plug, we show you love. Co-sign, you shine like stars above. Dinner trending, the dream tag team. Plugged in, turned up, shameless and supreme. Let them watch you break the mold. Your biz, your brand, your story told. You're next, you're bold, the space is yours. We open paths, unlock new doors. No filters needed, just your flame. We hype your purpose, speak your name.
Plug.
Hello. Welcome. This is the Shameless Plug podcast. I am one of your hosts, Denise Kana.
And I think I'm still visiting. My name is Denitra Taylor Everett.
Really?
I'm sorry.
Really?
I'm visiting. Now, what's up, everybody? I'm your other host, Denitra Taylor Everett. Yeah, I'm in that mood today. I've been silly all day, been watching crazy, funny movies. So I'm tired. So I'm silly right now.
I'm tired, girl. Listen. You know where I'm at. All right. You know
you should have been down here today.
All I'm gonna say is, if that groundhog is found dead somewhere, I ain't had nothing to do with it. That's all I'm gonna say. I ain't had nothing to do with it. Okay?
Don't say it.
No, I got an alibi.
You got an alibi.
I got an alibi because that daggone groundhog. I don't even know if it saw his shot. I don't even know which one it is. All I know is he's saying
they're in cahoots with each other.
6 more weeks of winter.
They are in cahoots with each other. That's what that is. Both of them together. They be working together. They be like, "Hey, what we doing this year?" That's what
right. They be texting each other in the borough. Is it the borough or whatever?
Yep, in the borough.
All right. We're gonna go out
this year.
We both gonna do this. You know. Come on, like, yo. It's been brutal. I was on the computer one night and I just happened to look up and it said 2 degrees. I said 2 degrees. 2 degrees. It's 30. I'm looking right now. It says 30 right now. Okay. It's supposed to be 40 tomorrow, but I don't understand because I saw some type of tweet where they was issuing a winter advisory about the cold one. So I don't know what it's going to be. All right. Because I was like, wait, 40? I was like, hold up. Maybe I might break out the wig and the eyelashes and the contact and everything tomorrow for a 40 degree, but I don't know. I gotta wake up and see what it's gonna say before I do that. All right. Hello, Renee, aka Chosen. Thank you for showing up. Thank you. She is a regular here.
That's awesome.
And so, like I said, and I just got this, I ordered this new wig from the TikTok shop. You know what I'm saying? It's great. I got a great wig.
You ready to bring it out?
Yes. But I am not bringing it out until it's warm. All right. I'm not bringing it out until it's warm. So who knows? You might not see the wig until May, the way we going. All right. You might not see the wig until May. I'm not going to lie. I'm tired of wearing leggings, hoodies, a shirt under the hoodie, a t-shirt under the hoodie, under the shirt. I'm just 2 pairs of pants. I'm tired. Yo, my coworker, we was in a grab bag for Christmas and she got me an electric blanket. I said, yo, you don't know that it's the best gift you could have ever given me.
I know that's right.
I get in my bed and I snuggle up and I turn that sucker on him. Oh my God, this is
good, right? Yeah.
Yes. And even at work, I got another one at work, but the one at work is when you put your feet in, and then at the bottom
Ooh.
you massages your feet. And yes, this is my life. And listen, this is my life. This has been my life this whole winter. Okay. Other than that, ain't much going on. You know me, still doing my creating my composition notebooks.
Mhm.
I was just telling you earlier that I am working on opening a different YouTube page that's dedicated to my TV wall art. And
Yes.
and you know, that's about it. You know, that's about it. What's been going on with
Cool.
you, sis?
So we are.
Hush
I'm.
up, Renee.
Uh-oh. I'm gonna be busy the next 2 weekends. I'm filming like back-to-back weekends. And so we will be finishing Joy. Fingers crossed. Finishing Joy. By the end of the day on March 1st, we should be done with Joy.
Okay.
All the fun with editing begins. And so it's been a year. It's been a year and some change since we started filming Joy, so
Hold on. Can you give me 1 second? Because see, nothing I can't stand is I can't stand disrespectful people.
uh-oh.
All right. I don't like disrespectful people. She gonna tell me it's 70 degrees here. That's very disrespectful.
Oh, see, Renee, that's why I ain't tell her what it is here. I ain't gonna tell her either.
That's very
I'm
disrespectful.
gonna support my sister and how she feels. So I ain't telling her how many degrees it is down on this end. I ain't gonna tell her. Or it
She
was.
she gonna pay for that later. She gonna pay for that later.
Uh-oh. I'm so
She gonna
sorry,
pay for
Renee.
that.
I'm
But go
sorry.
ahead. I'm sorry, sis. Go ahead.
Nope, you totally fine. You totally fine. But yeah, so that's that. That's what I'll be in filming mode. I'll be there, Other than that,
for the day when I could say I'll be in filming.
Yeah, it's coming. I can't wait for you. I'm coming up there. Just when you say, sis, this is when we're filming, I'm coming up there to support. I'll be there.
You know what? To be honest, I don't know where the film is going to be. You know what I'm saying?
Well, wherever it's going to be at, I'm going to be there with you.
Listen. I appreciate it.
With a bottle of champagne.
Yes. We're going to pop that champagne like on the set.
Bottles.
Yes. We just keeping our fingers crossed. I'm told to be patient. I got nothing but patience. You know what I'm saying? I have nothing but patience. But, so hold on, we got another comment. Everybody commenting on the weather now. Just go, haha. Come on, Zanine. We are hitting 35 this week. Beach weather. No. Okay, my weather is
if you're
over.
in the Antarctic.
Huh?
That's beach weather if you're in the Antarctic.
Right.
That's hot for them.
Right. No, she over here. She in Long Island. Okay.
Yeah, no, they ain't no beach.
You said some seasoned champagne. Yes, seasoned champagne on the set. That's what I'm going to be popping.
Yes.
That's what I be doing my lives. I be eating seeds, and they be hearing me popping them seeds or whatnot. So yes, I'm gonna have seasoned champagne.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, but yeah, we both listen. Busy is good.
Yeah, busy is good. It is.
Busy is definitely good. I appreciate being busy. I was telling Renee, I was doing the new YouTube page, and I feel like it took me all day. It was like 4 or 5 hours just to put this page up. First of all, it took me like about at least 3 hours to find some images. Then it took about another 2 hours to find some fonts.
Creating those pages is a lot. Yeah.
Then I had to find the words, and I did all of that and still didn't even upload the first video. I'll probably do that tomorrow. I was tired.
Yeah, it takes time. It takes time because you want it done right and you want it the way you want it. So, yeah,
exactly. So, but that's about it. So,
awesome.
All right, I guess we can get on to our guests.
Yes.
We have two amazing guests, and we have a reoccurring guest.
Yes, we do.
And but we're going to start out since Mr. Peter is friends, and he kind of like family. Well, we I guess we might as well just say he family. We were saying we're not going to call him family, but he family. Say it. He family. We don't call him like a distant cousin, but nah, he family. You know what I'm saying? He cool. He cool Pete.
Cousin Pete. That's our cousin Pete.
Right, cousin Pete. Right, he's gonna be cousin Pete. That's actually right. Yes. Cousin Pete. Yes, he would be cousin Pete.
Yes, he is.
Got you. All right. So, but first we have Wade Simmons. Now, we were talking about Wade, and we talking about how we have several hats. Wade has several hats too. All right. And one hat I am really, really interested in. And after he discussed it, I'll tell you why. Okay.
Yes.
So Wade Simmons is a man who loves cinema. He was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. Wade draws inspiration from Spike Lee and George Lucas. Wade is not only a filmmaker, he is a funeral service worker of almost 16 years. Mm-hmm. Wade graduated from Warsham College of Mortuary Science, as well as a graduate from Flashpoint, Chicago. He also trained for pro wrestling with Chicago style wrestling, returning to his love for wrestling, in which he also wrestled in high school. Wade's motto is, "We all have a length of days, use them wisely." I love that. That is very good. So let's welcome Wade to the stage. Hello, Wade.
How you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I don't feel bad. It's a little cold in my other home as well. So,
no. Where are you now?
I'm in Chicago right now. I'm
okay. All right. So we can relate. What's the weather there?
I'm ready to go back to California, to be honest. But it was like 42 today. So that's still like, to me, I'm just tired of the cold, to be honest with you. I'm tired of it.
At least you got somewhere to go back to. I don't have nowhere to go back to. Okay? I'm stuck. I gotta ride it out. All right. I have to ride it out. But welcome to the Shameless Plug podcast. So how are you? Tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm doing pretty good. As you stated, I'm a funeral service worker of 16 years. I'm a filmmaker of going on 9 years, and I trained for pro wrestling for about 2 years. But I've been involved with it for 6 years. But grew up in Chicago on the West Side. Always wanted to be a filmmaker. So I'm like, as a child, I'm like, I'm gonna be a mortician and a filmmaker. So when I got to high school, I wrestled. I was in an art club, and then I started working in the funeral business. And so once I graduated high school, I just jumped right in and went to school for it. It kind of took me a while to get to mortuary school. And then when I got there, I ain't gonna lie, it was hard.
What do you learn? What do you learn in mortuary school? And I'm not gonna lie. So what I was gonna say is that I always wanted to work in a funeral home. I do. I always wanted to work in a funeral home.
It's a lot, because when you go to school to be a mortician, you got to learn law. You have to learn psychology, pathology, microbiology, a little bit of anatomy, biology, chemistry, religion. So it's like a whole lot of stuff. Like, it's not
religion? Why religion?
Because you're working with different people of different beliefs. So like they're like, because not everybody believes the same thing. So you have like all kind of families that you serve, and so they just kind of, teach you the fundamentals of what different people believe and stuff like that. Because I remember one time when I was working at the funeral home full time, we had one family. They had, for the same person, one portion of the service was Buddhist and the other portion was Jehovah's Witness. It was really different. I've never seen that before. But sometimes families feud about certain things and stuff. But it's whatever they want, to be honest with you.
Wow, that's interesting. So what's the most interesting thing that has happened to you working that you've seen working in the mortuary?
I mean, I see a whole lot of stuff. but I mean, for the most part, I think one of the things that really stuck with me, I'll tell you more. One of the sad things was that I remember like years ago, this is like kind of like when I first started. It kind of shook me up a little bit, because there was a young lady, she had just got a basketball scholarship to go to college, and she died in a car accident. And I didn't know this family, but it's like when I went to the church, we were setting up the flowers and everything. Like when her family walked in, I didn't particularly know this family, but like I felt their grief, And so like to me it's like when you're doing a job like that, like, you know, one thing that I really learned is that you have to really care about what you do. You know, it's not just all about money, because sometimes you might service, especially in our community, sometimes people may not always have it. And so like the
Exactly.
funeral home that I work for, like they work very well with the community and stuff like that. Yeah,
That's
the funeral home that I used to work for full time, they've been in business about what, I think 93 years now. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, black owned. Yep, 93 years.
That's a long time.
Whoa. Wow. All
That's a
right.
long time.
So I got a question for you. Um, just based off your experience, how can families avoid being overwhelmed during the whole planning process?
I think it's best to be honest with you. Like this might sound, you know, crazy to some people, but I think that everybody at an early age should be taught about death. That's just my personal opinion, because I think that a lot of times you see, you know, some families fighting over possessions and things of that nature. But I think if everybody kind of work together and kind of like let people know what's what and let people know what their wishes are, I think a lot of other things can be avoided. But I think a lot of people really should kind of plan their own thing, because I remember there was a time where it was one guy where he didn't know his mother. And when his mother died, like she left him everything. And he was like, and I remember him saying, like, you know, I don't know what to do. I really didn't know this lady, you know? And
Mm,
so he did whatever he felt was best. So I think that personally, like everybody should kind of, you know, plan their own stuff out. You know, I think it makes it easier for your family
yeah.
or
That's
for our
good.
families, because it can happen to anybody, you know.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. Right. That's a good. That's good.
That's true. So everybody out there who is listening, prepare your people, talk, have the difficult talks.
Right. It's a
Get
difficult talk.
life
Nobody wants to talk
insurance.
about it.
Yes, get life insurance. Have someone who is trusted and let them know where all your documents are, because you just never know. Not to say that you just want people to be prepared, because you just never know. So,
Right.
Yeah, because I
nugget.
know like my grandfather, he passed away last year on January 2nd, and he was in the military, but he never talked about the military. So when he passed away, it's crazy because like the military, like some people that was in the war at a certain time, they allegedly had some type of fire, so they lost a lot of records. So we had to, you know, come to the house and dig
Oh,
through a lot of stuff to find his records and stuff. So it's just important to keep up with all that stuff, you know.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
All
Okay.
right. So let's talk about your film writing.
Yes.
Let's talk about your film writing. So, how did growing up in Chicago shape the way you see stories, people, and cinema today?
Um, I would say that like, you know, it kind of, because like Chicago is like a really inspirational place, you know. Again, I'm a very big Spike Lee fan, so like I kind of liked how he kind of put like, you know, New York and Brooklyn and stuff
Brooklyn.
in his work.
Yes.
And so like being in Chicago, like I have many fond memories of like, you know, growing up on the west side and growing up in the community and things of that nature. But for me, it kind of took a little bit of a twist, because like from being a filmmaker and working in the funeral business, I saw a lot of, you know, gun violence and a lot of tragedy and stuff like that. So I decided that I would make my films more about love, you know, more about something a little more positive than just always tragedy, you know, because
Yeah.
I always tell people like our stories are more than tragedy. You know, I've been getting on the news media about this as well, because I'm like, there's so many talented people out here like doing like really phenomenal things, but the only time it seems like some people's story get told is if something tragic happens. And
Exactly.
so just trying to change the narrative a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I actually miss those times, like in the and I'm telling my age, I don't care. In the 90s and even early 90s, when there were those movies about love, black love,
Mhm.
especially. You had comedies like Strictly Business, you know, who at the very at least of it was a love story. You know, we had really great love stories that
I ain't
were
seen that in a month of Sundays. What, girl? I
yes,
gotta look that up. Hold on,
yes,
write
but
that
we had
down.
some really great love stories from the 90s. Of course, Love and Basketball is another one. Love Jones, because I love poetry, was like, that was just my favorite right there. Love Jones was my thing, and so we're missing, there's that content out there, but it's not market it the way something that may be more tragic is marketed.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
And I'm like, and I'm like, everything ain't always like tragic. Like, it's, we need some people to kind of uplift everybody a little bit. Like, everything doesn't have to be like just always tragic or violent. Don't get me wrong. Like, every artist, tells their stories the way that they like it because they relate to it. But it's like, I think for me, I want to kind of promote a different narrative, because, to me, I think that as a creative, I'm responsible for what I put out into the world. So if I'm gonna put anything out into the world, then for me, I want to make sure that it's something to inspire people and uplift them.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right. So I want to ask you about filming school, because a lot of filmmakers, a lot now independently don't go the route of actually going to school for it. So how did film school influence your understanding of the business side of filmmaking, not just the art?
Well, it showed me that it's not necessarily all about your talent. It's about being a smart businessman and being able to make connections. Because, and again, you don't necessarily have to go to school for that part, but I think like when I went to school, I learned about like the different, filming in different states, like the tax credits, and why some cities, bigger productions go to certain places because they get incentives and stuff like that.
Right.
So I think on a bigger scale, it was kind of good to like learn that, because a lot of times, but because like nowadays, like everybody's a filmmaker, everybody got a camera, but it's like when you want to get into like the paid things and being able to actually create work and help other people, then you kind of have to know the ins and outs of that side as well. So I think that that's like very important, especially like getting film permits and all that stuff, because it's like, if a person film something and then they don't have a permit and then something come up later, like it might cause an issue or something. Like a lot of people don't know that, but
yeah, that's definitely true. And just on the end of, your film is done, and it's like, what next? If you don't know the marketing and distribution portion of it, if you don't know going through particular avenues to get your films out there, if you don't know what that 60-40 split would look like, and where, like, you're not going to get 100% of that money, somebody else is going to get a piece of that money as well, and you're not going to get your money from that streaming service right then and there. And you got to know how many views, especially nowadays with streaming services. You need to know how many people is watching what you created. And that is a lot of times how the money is generated. And then there are some streaming services that pay more than others. So again, that's all the business. Being creative is awesome, but this is all the business part of it that people don't understand. I know here in North Carolina, they have a rebate incentive, but your film has to be of a certain budget in order for you to get that percentage, that rebate percentage, so incentive. And so people, those who are in this business, wherever you're doing it at, know your film and arts department of the government. Look into everything, because here, if I'm not mistaken, and anybody of our audience who is filmmakers, I think your budget has to be over $1 million here in North Carolina. Could be wrong, but I think that's what your budget, in order for you to be a candidate for that incentive, your budget has to be so much on the film. Now, for anybody that's a filmmaker that's here in North Carolina and you got $1 million budget and you got that $1 million, bravo, congratulations. And I know you're going to have the dopest project, because you got the money to be able to pull it off. But for us little people, we ain't got that.
We ain't got
that. So, we have to become very creative with what we do and how we do it. But yeah, so anybody out there, just know the business. Being creative is great. Shout out to Coach John Alexander. I didn't give him a shout out. Coach teaches us the business part of it. He teaches us like, okay, you want to produce yours, but if you don't got the money to produce it, then why don't you sell your script to make money? So he teaches us the business aspect of it as well. So I don't know. I did a whole lot of talking right then and there, but y'all know I'm really passionate about this thing right here. So
yeah.
Okay.
No, you're right though. You're absolutely right about what you're saying. That's why, like me, I have scripts that I keep for me. Then I got scripts that I'll be willing to, sell if I get a good offer.
That's right. Yes.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Your question, sis. I think I take your time.
Nah, it's all good. So Spike Lee and George Lucas are very different creators. And what do you take from each of them, and how do those influences show up in your work?
Well, what I like about Spike Lee is that like he's also a Black artist, and he's been around a long time, so he's seen a lot of things. And he started out as an indies man that kind of went around and raised funding for his own projects.
Right.
And I've always admired that about
She's
him.
Gotta Have It. That was his first one, right? She's Gotta Have It. Was that his first one?
I think.
I'm trying to see.
So
I got to go back and look that up.
I know Mo Better Blues wasn't his first one, because that one looked like it took some money to make. So I think Mo Better Blues was down the way when he was now known. But I think She Gotta Have It probably was his first one.
Please hold.
Yeah, but
that's why you answer.
But my favorite all-time Spike Lee movie actually was The Crooklyn's. That's like my favorite one. Yeah, that was like my favorite one. That's the one that I fell in love with as a child.
Yeah.
But what I really like about Spike Lee, like I drew a lot of inspiration from his story, because like he was pretty much an independent filmmaker that just got the funding and kind of did it with help, but he had to kind of do some of it, like go out there and hustle on his own and like make it happen. Yeah. And when I look at George Lucas also was the type of filmmaker where, like, even though he had like an internship at a big studio, he wanted to make his film his way. They like, we don't really know about this, and so he like, look, we'll make it or whatever. But he was smart enough to like kind of keep some rights to himself, and he did it his way, and it worked out for him. And so, like, to me, that's really inspirational, because I feel like when you have a vision and when you have an idea, you gotta trust your ideas that God gave you. Like, sometimes other people may not get your vision, but it was given to you. So you got to execute it the way it's been given. And now look at Star Wars, one of the biggest franchises in the world.
Exactly. And I mean, look at everything that branched off from those, how many movies was it? 3? The original?
Yep. Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi.
But then he came back and he did the prequels.
The previous, so
he got a little bit now. Me, the prequels is what, to me, some people back then didn't like them, but to me, the prequels is actually what got me interested in it, because one day I was at home one day, right, and I never gave Star Wars a chance, and I was just like, you know what, I was just sitting at home watching TV. Then when I actually watched, I'm like, you know what, I actually like this.
Gotcha. And look at George Lucas now, still got stuff branched off from the original.
Right.
He's still making money off of it. So
yeah. So I love like to see people who like trust their ideas that they have, because again, like when you're an artist, the point is not to try to be like nobody else. You have to kind of, use your unique abilities and share the stories that you want to tell. Because, we all know, like with Hollywood, it's a numbers thing. So they want to play it safe, and they go off what works. But to me, you got to sometimes, you got to give people what they never really seen before, because like, tired of seeing all these cliche movies.
Right. Seeing the same thing over and over and over. Like, okay, I know what's going to happen. Yeah.
This has been done before. this has been, you know, a lot of people like, again, we've seen this before. What else
but
you
you
got?
know what? But at the same time, it's hard because people like it, and that's what sells, and that's what people are watching. You know, so like, you know, what do you do? What
I
do you do?
mean, I think it's a little bit of both. Like I think mainly it's because that's what they put in front of people. But I think if people are shown something different, you know, you never really know.
There
And
are, but
like
I
I
mean, there are things out there that are different, you know, and
mhm.
it's like, you know, like for example, you'll get like an older type crowd that watches Lifetime, you know, because Lifetime is that certain type of movie, you know, there's
Mhm.
no booty shaking, there's no cursing, there's no,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's like it might be some murder, but you know, it's like a mystery type murder type thing, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's no disrespecting women and all of that, and you know, it's none of that. So to be honest, you know, when you think about it, how many of the younger generation are really watching Lifetime? They're
Oh
not.
yeah, they ain't like
They're not.
they like
They're
what is
watching, right. They're watching the Tubies, you know, and all of those kind of
Mhm.
movies. That's what they're watching. So you know, it's
Yeah.
like you know, it's hard. You know, it's hard to make something, you know, if you want to grab that younger generation, you really have to have something that's really, really good. If you don't have any cursing, booty shaking, strippers and drug dealers and all of that kind of stuff. Not to say that, oh, don't get me wrong, I don't want y'all coming at me now. All right. Not to say that y'all all do that or look for that, but I'm just saying, you know, like you said, that's what's presented out there, you know, and how many, you know, you do have something like, okay, I'm not going to watch that, but the majority rules. That's just the bottom line. The majority always
Yeah,
follows.
that's the way the bigger part of the industry works. But I think like I also have a lot of respect for like a lot of artists like myself though. Like me, I never really been like into the numbers thing. Like I just create the type of stuff that I like to, you know.
That's
Because
it.
I remember when I went to film school, I had a teacher. His name is Patrick Underwood. He's, you know, worked on a lot of films and stuff. And I remember him telling me like, Wade, if you're gonna be in this business, you got to make stuff. And so I'm like, well, I have other careers, so you know, I can make my money being a filmmaker when I want to, but I got other stuff I can do as well. So I ain't tripping.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's true. You know, that is true.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So we got. I know you got your last question. I got my last question. You want to do your last question
So
first?
my last question is kind of like two questions in one, right? So it's a fun question. If and the question applies to Spike Lee and George Lucas. So if Spike Lee and George Lucas separately came to you and said, "Hey, I want you to write the next film. I'm behind you. I'm backing it. This and that." For Spike Lee, what are you going to write?
For Spike Lee, I probably would write a story about a young black girl that was a scientist who, you know, she was looking for a cure for a disease, and she had a science project. And what happened was that she was missing something, and then she goes back in time and find out what she was missing. You know, and the thing is that what she was missing was something very simple, because it's the simple things that are very powerful. You know, so that would be like my whole summary all of the message of the story.
You came up with that one pretty quick. You already got that as a story, don't you?
No, my man is just like it's like a
Wow,
computer.
because you didn't even stutter or anything. All right, so what would you? So George Lucas, what would you write?
So for George Lucas, I would rather make a documentary about just like kind of like his journey in the film industry when he first started out versus to how it is today. Because I feel like, you know, back when he started, it was totally different. And like George Lucas, he's like considered an innovator in the film industry. So to kind of make a documentary about like how, you know, how things were then as to like now, I think that would be really cool to like pair him up with some younger filmmakers and just, you know, kind of see how he was being innovative. Cause like nowadays, let's be real, like with AI technology, it's like back then people was impressed with stuff, but like now it's like, oh, okay, it's just a robot. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like
right, right, right. I get it. I get it. All right, sis, go ahead.
Well, she just took my question.
What?
Yeah, she took my question.
Took your question for a change?
She took my question.
What question was yours?
So mine was, Ryan Coogler has come to you and say, I need you to write me a script right here and now. And it needs to be really good. And it needs to be based off of people of color. What are you coming up with? But I don't want you to answer that. I want you to answer this one. So I'm about to
Okay.
throw you for a loop. Okay. Here you go. So Shonda Rhimes wants you to be on Bridgerton.
Okay.
And you are going to be Lord of a house. What is going to be your title? Like, what is your name going to be? And what are you going to be Lord of what? So you got to come up with your name and what you're Lord of.
I would say maybe I would come up with like a name, like since I'm black, like I like the name Monty, so maybe Lord Monty, and I would probably be Lord of like Olympia Palace or something like that.
Lord
Just
Monty, Lord of Olympia's Palace. Okay, I like that. I like that. Yes. Okay, that is awesome. Wait. We have appreciated you. Thank you so much for coming on the show today and chopping it up with us. I know you got something big going on, and I don't know if you can tell what you've been on,
Oh
but
yeah, I get that.
you can. Okay, so tell people what you're doing right now, and then tell people where they can find you at.
Yeah, so right now I'm actually working on a documentary about my journey training for pro wrestling. I've been doing that for quite a while, so we're trying to finish that up. But in the meantime, I've been doing some extra work on Chicago PD and Chicago Med. I was just in the last episode going up the going up the escalator and all that stuff, but I kind of like it. Like I never thought I'd be doing extra work, but I gave it a shot, and I kind of like it, to be honest. It's you don't have to worry about saying a whole lot of lines or nothing. You just walk past and you call, and then I mean they keep you all day. They feed you pretty good, so I ain't complaining.
I know that's right. I know that's right. And now when you gotta keep me in the loop so I can keep us in the loop on what episode and when it's coming out so we can let the people know.
Yeah, I was in the last episode last week. It was episode 13. No, it was season 13, episode 12. And then I think I'm in the Chicago Med episode that come in. But they may give me 5 seconds of fame, whatever. I don't care. But you know, I feel like look, whether I'm seen or not, it's just nice to, be able to work with people and connect with people because I have a lot of fun, and it's like when you're there, you meet a lot of people, and a lot of these individuals, they've been in a whole lot of stuff. Some people have starred in things and stuff, but some people just like doing the extra. Like it's not. I feel like you don't got to worry about remembering lines and none of that stuff. You just you just being the extra. Like
that's true.
Can't beat that. Yeah.
And where can people find you on what are your social media handles?
All right. Well, again, I'm a Star Wars fan, so you can find me on Instagram as Wade Jedi 99 on Instagram. On Facebook, Wade Simmons, and then if you want to check out my film work, I always say if you want to, no pressure, but if you want to, it's on Vimeo, Wade Filmmaker 777 on Vimeo.
All right, y'all. Well, y'all heard that. So he just asking y'all to, but please support this filmmaker. Go to Vimeo and watch his films. Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And we got to have you back on the show.
It's good. It's good to see you again. It's been a while.
Good seeing you too. Yeah, when they give you like that whole scene of Chicago, whatever, and you big star, then we're gonna have you come back. We're gonna have you back on the show anyway.
Well, you know what I learned? I learned sometimes, like when I'm on the set, I learned that sometimes you just got to be a little more quiet because I feel like you never know who people be. And so I feel like a lot of times, if God's hand is on you, he'll put you in the right places. You ain't got to change who you are and you ain't got to compromise none of that. If he see fit to send you there for whatever purpose he have for you, then, but if not, I love being an independent filmmaker.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, Wade. Well, hang out for a little bit, and we're gonna chop it up a bit before we go off. But hang out backstage for a little bit if you don't mind.
I got you.
All right, and after the show, after we close out the show, we'll come back and we'll just chit chat for like a few minutes.
Okay, got you. I'm right here.
Thank you, Wade. All right. Wow.
I told you, like that's like that's like different sides of the career spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? It works for him. It works for him. That's definitely different.
Right, right. I love it.
I do too.
You know me. Like I said, we all multi-talented. We do. I have the full-time job. I do the creating. I do the YouTube. I got the. It's. Listen, you got to stay. You got to. That's all I can
Yeah,
say. You got to.
yeah, we have
You know.
to.
And like you
Definitely.
said, I do it. The things I do, and because we all know I'm still broke. But I do it because I like doing it.
Yeah.
I just love to create.
Yeah.
And whether people buy it or not, it's not going to stop me. Like, I love being on TikTok and showing people, because I know how it was when I first started, and didn't know who to turn to, who to ask this. And remember,
Yeah.
like, I'm telling my age, because back when I first started, especially writing my first book, there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, there was none of all of this stuff. We were still
Exactly.
using AOL dollar.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
We just using dial-up. Oh my God! If these kids now had to go through dial-up, they wouldn't last. They would not last. There was no cell phones. There was none of
Nope.
that stuff.
And it
So
was
now,
only one landline, so you couldn't be on the dial up if somebody had to make a phone call.
okay,
So
or you on the dial-up, somebody called and it kicked you off.
yes,
Lord have mercy.
yes, we
They
are
don't know
telling
the
our age.
struggles. They
They
do
don't.
not know the struggles. But so I enjoy showing people, who are just starting and don't know where to turn to. I
Yeah.
enjoy showing those people how to get it done without spending a whole lot of money. Because listen, I wish someone could have saved me thousands and thousands of dollars, that I spent. So if I can save some people some money, listen, I'm gonna do it. It is what it is. That's what I like doing.
That's
That's what
right.
I like doing. So
All
I
right.
guess it's time to introduce our cousin, right?
Yeah, cousin Pete, cousin Pete.
Cousin Pete, right? Cousin Pete. So Cousin Pete was on our show before, and we had a blast with him.
Yeah.
He has an amazing story,
Mhm.
a touching story,
Yeah.
definitely touching. And I was so honored to meet him, and he was so honored to meet us that he mentioned us in his next book. Woo-hoo.
I know
You
that
know
was
that,
so
right?
sweet.
We got to mention, right?
Yes, we got. We
So
got.
definitely,
Thank
you
you.
know, and it was funny because when he first came out, he just had one book out. Now he has three, right? And he was just on, like, how many months? It wasn't even that long ago, less than a year.
Yeah, it definitely less than a year. Yeah.
Every time I turn around, he's at a book signing, he's doing this, he's doing that. I'm like,
Oh
well,
yeah.
excuse me, and I
Yeah.
just love it. All right.
Yes.
So if y'all don't know, we are talking about our cousin, Peter A. Coulter, who was born in Utica, New York, and raised in a small village of Clinton, where the quiet streets held both beauty and chaos. A lifelong musician, writer, and creative soul, Peter found expression through art and music, even in his darkest moment. He has lived with manic depression and bipolar disorder for most of his life, weathering storms that many never see and never hear. After writing many screenplays, he decided to start working on novels. His writing comes from a place of raw emotion, real experience, and renewed hope. He lives surrounded by family he cherishes, and continues to grow in faith each day. His hope is that his work reaches others who feel unseen, unheard, and lost. Born deaf, gained hearing after 11 operations, suffered from bipolar and manic depression, had an encounter with Jesus that changed his life and led him to write The Endless Fall, Abuse, and newest novel, Home, which are all available online on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles, and has since gotten his own display at local Barnes and Noble. Yeah, he always at Barnes and Noble with that display.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every time I turn around, he showed a picture. He has a book signing coming up next week, and he will talk about it, as well as video appearances all week. Now currently writing screenplays and he's actively looking for an agent. You don't need an agent. If you did all of that without an agent, you don't need an agent, okay? So let's welcome to the stage our cousin
Cousin Pete.
Pete.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, what's up?
What is up? How are you?
I'm fantastic. You know, just
You
living
Yeah.
are
the dream.
fantastic.
Living the dream. I almost want to say, you've got mail.
I know, right?
Like that whole
Yes.
the whole AOL thing. Like I'm old too, so I'm hearing like dial up and you've
Yep.
got mail,
You
and
Right.
got
it's like,
milk.
oh hey,
That
I
was
get to
the
check my
best
messages.
feeling. All
Yeah.
that little thing running, and it connects. Oh man, they don't know the struggle.
No,
They
they don't
don't
know.
know the
They don't
struggle.
know. They don't know the struggles. No.
Mm-mm. It was
Those are good times,
awesome.
though. Those are really good times, though. They
But they
really,
were.
really were.
They were. They
Yes,
were.
yes, that
I
was the
met
best
some cool
thing.
people in my
And you
AOL.
guys, you actually have two mentions, not just the one. You have a mention in abused and in my newest book.
Say what?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yep. You guys are in there. You're in both of
awesome!
them. Yep.
Thank
Well,
Well,
you.
thank you guys. I mean, you
Wow.
were like the first people that put me on, and you were super nice to me, from the beginning. And you've put me on a couple of times here, and it's just
Yeah.
you've helped me a lot. So the least I could do is
Oh,
mention you guys. You know what I mean?
we
oh, thank
appreciate that.
you.
We
Uh,
appreciate that. That
right.
is awesome.
So Peter, for all the people who haven't seen you or didn't see you in the other podcast, tell them about yourself and tell them about your story.
Well, I've, like you said, suffered manic depression and bipolar since I was really young. I was diagnosed when I was like 12. I was pretty much fully deaf until I was 11. I had 11 operations, inner tubes and outer tubes and things like that to gain my hearing. After a while, I did end up getting my hearing fully, and that was, a struggle on its own, right? Because you have to try to figure out how to kind of sort of communicate with people after not knowing how to really communicate with anybody at all. And so that was, tough on its own. And the depression it was severe a lot, and I really just kind of hated myself and I hated my life, and it's just I was always like that until I went to pick up my godsons in South Carolina, and I was on a balcony at a really nice hotel, and everybody was happy, and I was just wanting to just die. I didn't really know why, just like the depression, it was just so heavy on me. And I called out to Jesus and I told him that, if there's a purpose for me, he better show it to me. I said some things that I wish I didn't say, of course. It's not good to curse out God. I found out, but so then he made me feel in my heart this shift, and my life has changed since then. My anger is it's gone. The depression I had is gone. I haven't felt it since. I'm very very blessed in that way. It's been over a year now, so I'm still on that straight road with them, and things are working out well, and I'm very grateful for that. You know what I mean? And that's where I came up with the Endless Fall. I felt like it was just kind of sort of put into my head, and I couldn't get it out of my head, so I started immediately writing it on the way back from South Carolina, and then it became what it became, and here I am with the third book out now.
Yes. So yeah, let's talk about the third book because this is like totally different, of course, from the Endless Fall.
Yes.
But can summarize what Home is about? And I got questions after
Home is about two Amish girls named Lilith and Blossom, who defy their father's strict wishes to not attend a carnival, and they go anyways. At the carnival, they get kidnapped by a cult, and the cult brings them back to a house that holds many secrets inside of it, and they have to escape it, and they're guided by a particular light that I don't really want to give away because it's pretty much the cornerstone of the story. And it's about their survival and how they have to form their bond together and keep their faith and try to get home.
that.
That's wow.
Wow, that's
That
deep.
definitely sounds like a
Yeah.
Screenplay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing with it now. Actually, is I'm forming it into that.
Good. That's a good story. All right. Let me ask my first question. I'm starting off this time because
All
you
right.
you because you took my last question, Denise. So
Uh-oh.
I'm starting this off. All righty. So Lilith and Blossom make one small act of rebellion that changes everything. What does that moment represent to you thematically?
Well, I think it would represent the if somebody cares about you and they have your best interests at heart, you should probably listen to them, because what would ensue because you didn't listen is probably not what you want, right? And the in the best form of saying it, right? It's
Very
probably
true.
not going to be good for you, you know. So
Yeah.
I would say that would probably be
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Kind of like, a parent,
it.
like, even God telling you, like, don't do that. Don't,
Right.
God told
Yeah.
you.
Well, you
God
gotta.
told
I
you
mean, you
don't
gotta
do
learn how
that.
to listen, right? I mean, because you're
Yeah.
gonna have consequences to everything you do, and I
Yeah.
think that's really what the book plays on is the consequence of their actions,
Yeah.
even though they know they shouldn't do it,
Yeah.
But you have the younger sister who's extremely rebellious and is just like, "Come on, let's go, Blossom, please, let's go." And after a while, you give in, and that was the mistake, and that's what leads
Mm,
to the journey that they end up going on.
yeah. And it's funny that for this one, like you said, it's the younger sister that's rebellious. And
Mhm.
usually it's the oldest one. And
Right.
then the youngest one is just following along with
That's
their
right. Yeah.
older sibling.
Right.
So
And
that's
this, yeah,
an
I just
interesting
I
twist.
decided to make it switched a little bit, and
Yeah.
the reason why is because this girl Blossom, her background is that she's never been introduced to any of it. She's always stayed on the homestead. She's always stayed on the farm. Always did the
Yeah.
Amish thing. Always prayed. Always minded the fields, and that was her life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So she doesn't know anything of the outside world too much.
Yeah.
And then Lilith just hearing the noises, and then all the outside kind of implications of what that might be out there, that she's so yearning to just leave the situation that
Mm,
she's in, that it kind of goes out the window what her whether she should or not, and
yeah.
then I think Blossom kind of has that little moment of weakness where she's like, well, what's the worst that could happen? We'll be
Yeah.
back before dinner. They'll never know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
How did you actually come up with this story?
Yeah.
It was my godson, the one of the ones that graduated from the Marines, Lewis. He had a school project. It was his senior paper, and he came to me after I had written The Endless Fall, and he said, "The senior paper has to be, any story that we can come up with. And seeing that you released a book, can you help me write this?" And I said, "Absolutely. Let's do that.
Mhm.
Fantastic." And I said, "What does that have to be about?" And he said, "It could be about whatever it needs to be about, but my teacher really likes us to go hardcore. She really likes us to dig in and kind of be very adventurous with what we write." And I said, "Okay, let's do a horror book. Let's do a horror paper. It's short paper. It was came out to be. I actually have it in the closet. It was like 3 pages long or so,
Yeah.
and he came up with the idea of them being Amish. I came up with the names. I came up with the horror stuff, and he did all the research on, what it is to be living in an Amish kind of life. You know what I mean? And I grew up in Clinton, so we had the Mennonites and the Quakers
Yeah.
around us.
Mhm.
So I knew some Amish families. I didn't converse with them very much, but when I did, I could get senses from them. They're really not. They're not as subjective, like as I would say we, because we're not
Yeah.
in that Amish community.
Yeah.
They're not subjective to things as we are. They're very innocent in the way they carry themselves and the way they do things. They're very waving to everybody that drives by, or always
Yeah.
trying to help people and stuff like that. And we as a society should be that way, but we're
Mm.
kind of not, more or less. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of people don't really help people unless it benefits them, which is sad to say. But the Amish community is not very much like that, at least not in my experience. And
Mhm.
from the research, that's very much what it was too. So it was taken from that 3 page essay or final project, which he got an A for. So I was like, there's something here. let's see if we can turn it into a short story. And that's what it was at first, was a short story. And then I kind of sort of added it a little bit more to it and embellished a little bit more in places. And then it became what it is now.
Wow. You
Wow.
never know where something's going to start.
No, I mean, if it's, if it's good and it's got a way to be marketed, and it's got a way to reach readers, and it has a point, then I think that, it'll do good. I mean, God put us here to create, you know what I mean? So the more that we create, the more we can put into those kind of things, the more that will come out of it, I think. And the story itself is it's gut wrenching at times. It's got its
Yeah.
moments where it's like, what is going on? Like, holy crap, And my daughter, she just finished reading it, and she's like the one that I kind of go to, and she'll tell me, like, honestly whether it's good or not.
Mhm.
And she was scared. She was
Oh
scared reading
Lord.
it.
Oh,
She was like, I was so scared. Like, what's gonna happen to them? And that's the reviews I'm hearing now, is that it's very fast paced, and it's definitely a little bit of a turn away from the Endless Fall and Abused,
yeah,
and more like a cinematic kind of feature in a book.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
I could see that. I could
yeah.
see.
So it seems like the cult in this novel is both mysterious and terrifying without being like immediately visible. Um,
Yes.
so how did you approach, building that sense of dread without, really focusing so much on the cult itself? Like, that seems a lot more psychological than it would be, more physical. So like, what was your approach to doing that? Was it like, oh, if I do this creak in the left corner of this room, and I have this dark spot, like, what was your approach on actually showing that?
For this one, I think my approach was more psychology based, first of all. And secondly, it was more less is more. That kind
Mm,
of and it works well with horror.
yeah,
A lot of time for horror specifically, I've found that if you can leave yourself the little tiny bit of imagination, those scary things that you're trying to describe become scarier, you know,
Mm,
because you have that moment to think it up in your head, and you will immediately pick what's scary to you without me having to tell you what it is.
right, right.
So being a craftsman in that way,
yeah,
or a craft woman, whatever you want to call it, craftsman,
yeah,
um, in that kind of way is really what sort of geared me to go in the direction that it ended up going in.
mhm,
There was two different directions in the story. It actually has two separate endings because I just was not. I wasn't settled on which one I wanted to use, which
yeah,
one I wanted to release. And my daughter read it and she told me which one to release. So that's the one I picked, and I think she was right with that ending. But less is more.
yeah. That's true. And then, I mean, like you said, it leads to the audience imagination,
Mhm.
you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
like what's in that little dark corner,
Yeah,
what's
right.
gonna pop out,
Yeah. What
So yeah,
is what is over there?
yeah, what's over
There's
there?
something there, but what
Yeah,
is that?
yeah,
And it is to you what is
yeah,
scary. Because to me, a caterpillar could be scary, but to you, you could be like, "What? That's a caterpillar. Why is that scary? That doesn't make any sense." But if I said something was crawling and
mhm,
slimy, and you have those
yep,
kind of adjectives or words descriptive, they wouldn't it would form in their own mind what that scary thing is,
that's
and that's what kind of leads you through the book. And I
yeah,
kept it very fast paced. I wanted it to start, get going, get right to the point, get in the house, get out of the house, do the da 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 da, um, to keep it one in set. Like, you
yeah,
start it, you finish it,
yeah,
and that's pretty much what it's been able to do. Is people who've picked it up, they've read it in less than 3 hours, and they've enjoyed it.
yeah,
So
awesome.
I
And
think I accomplished the fast pacing
yeah,
of it,
yeah,
and I didn't make it so convoluted that it was like, oh, what's going to happen or what did happen? I don't understand. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
straight to the point. Less is more.
Yeah.
And, horror seems to work for those that are looking to be scared.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Caterpillars are scary to me, so
They're kind of scary to me too. I mean, I don't
fuzzy. I
know.
don't like them. I don't like them.
Oh my goodness.
They're scary. What's your question, sis? I'm just saying. I don't like them. They're
Oh
scary.
my goodness. You write from raw emotions and real experiences. What does writing give you that nothing else can?
Oh.
Uh, Purpose. I mean, it's become a big purpose in my life. As to where before I had that encounter, I wasn't really writing like that. I mean, I was writing screenplays, but they were all very dark and gory and horror, and it was just kind of sort of very like dark, And I didn't. There wasn't much structure. There wasn't much enthusiasm, because of those periods of time in my life, I didn't have much motivation. But after that encounter, I had an incredible amount of motivation. I still do. So it's like I can't really stop writing. I find myself, my wife will be like, "Hey, do you want to stop doing that now? And maybe we'll hang out for 10 minutes." Like, yeah, sure. And then you got to close the book, and you got to close the MacBook, and you got to be like, "Hey, let's figure out something else." And you got to pull yourself away from it. But I would say purpose.
Mm.
Okay.
I love it. I love it. All righty. So this was my last question. Then I know Deneen gonna ask hers, and I'm gonna ask the question. So I gotta make sure she don't have this question since we. I'm messing with you, sis. I'm messing with you. So the house itself feels almost like it's its own character.
Mm.
And what was that intentional? And what does home truly mean in this story?
Okay, so the house being its own character, being intentional. Um, well, that's kind of sort of left up to the curiosity of the two characters, right? So
Okay.
we have
Mm-hmm.
two young girls, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the they see things as either being really scary or
Uh-huh.
really curious, right? And so
Yeah.
either it's exciting or it's super scary, right? And
Yeah.
that's how most kids are, right? If
Yeah.
Mhm.
if you get a child a lollipop, he's going to be excited to have it. If you take that lollipop away from him, he's going to be scared that he doesn't have it anymore or
Yeah.
upset, right?
Yeah.
Negative feelings versus positive ones, right?
Yeah.
So I just tried to keep that the whole time. Try to keep it in their point of view and their innocence and their childlike attributes
Mm-hmm.
to paint a picture of this prison.
Mm.
Let's put it that way,
Yeah.
or nightmare, or whatever scheme you want to call it. Really,
Yeah.
but yes, I would say that that's pretty much what I did. I tried to
Yeah.
keep it so it was more or less their point of view and what they would think of this dark house and these sounds and these different things that are happening in this house from a child's point of view.
Yeah.
And what does home mean? Home means freedom. It means love. It means peace. It means safety.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Oh, gotta say, let's see. We got hi sis Tamika's on. Hello.
Hey, Tamika.
Marquez says, hey y'all, and Tech Dedon says blessings. So thank y'all so much for joining us.
Thank
Give them
you.
shout out. Yes. All right, sis. Go ahead with your wonderful question.
So, production company comes to you, say, "Hey, Pete, I'm going to fund your next project. All right?
Mhm. Speak it into existence. Yes.
Speak it into existence. Your budget between $500,000 $1 million. What are you going to write about?
What was that number?
500,000 to $1 million. What are you?
500,000, a million?
Yeah. What
To
are
a
you?
million, yeah.
For $1 million.
Okay.
So your film can be in between there. What are you going to write about?
Well, I mean, I have so many screenplays already written, so I would probably choose one of those, right? And the one I would go with is probably The Endless Fall, and the reason why is because it's a dramatic story. It's a very hardcore cut case of how hard it is to keep faith, and I think that that would work. I think it would cinematically work, especially the nightmares of her own suicide and the abuse that she goes to, and trying to keep Jesus in her life. I think that those would be banners that production companies would definitely jump onto, and I think that it's very marketable, right? Especially for a teen to adult audience. I think that there's a lot that they could get from it, whether it be testing their own faith, right? Or maybe even looking at their own daughter or their own son that's kind of sort of, off in the corner, not really talking, and maybe making them pay attention a little bit more to what's going on in their own family dynamic. And it could also be a great film to help the mental health community, especially people in rehabs and mental institutions.
Well, Coach always tells us that holiday films,
Mm.
faith-based films,
Hmm.
Yep.
what was the other ones? Rom-com. Those
Rom
that's
com.
what
Mm-hmm.
that's what they're looking for. That
Oh
is
yeah,
what they're looking for.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and I think that's the one I would pick. And then after that, I think I would choose probably Home, because it's coming out to be it's coming out to be a pretty decently well written horror script.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I
Have
would
you started?
definitely go with Endless Fall first, though.
All right. Have you started on number 4?
Yeah.
Number 4 book, yes,
Yes.
yes. There's actually 4 chapters in the end of Home. So yep, I started it,
Oh.
and it's about the end of the world.
Oh,
Mm.
Yeah. And it follows 4 different families in different parts of the world: Jerusalem, Los Angeles, Dnipro, Ukraine, and where is the other one? I'm forgetting right off the top of my head now. Did I say Los Angeles? Yes, I said Los Angeles. Paris, France.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
And
4
it
different
follows
seasons.
those 4 groups as the world ends, and they're all own different perspectives at the same time.
interesting.
That is very interesting.
I
Wow.
love how your brain works from one creator to the other. I love
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
I
Yes.
always constantly
love
like just having ideas, and like I'll write down a sentence and then I'll go back and be like, "Oh, I have time to work on this," or I'm bored of working on this one, or I'm just like I'm stuck in a moment
Yeah.
where I'm like I feel that tiredness. I don't know
Okay.
if you know what I'm talking about, that like
Yes.
tiredness when you're writing a screenplay. You're like, I'm so sick of this idea right now,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
You
then
have
you
to
go
take a
on to
step back
something
from it.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You have to
yeah,
take a step back from it
yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, and that's what I
And
find myself doing. So I've
yeah.
got like 13, 15, some screenplays being worked on right now.
Okay.
Wow.
Just got to
Well,
keep myself
yeah,
going.
I know. That's how I am with pitch decks. I have
Yeah,
oh my God, I have like several pitch decks that I have to finish up. But like I said, you get that idea and you got to get it started. As
Yep.
long as
yeah,
you get that idea, you get it started, then like, okay, I can go back to it. But if you don't get it out, it is going to eat you up in your head. It's going to
it
annoy
does. Yeah,
you, and it's just you have to get it out. Whether
yeah,
you write it out or you do it on a computer or whatever, you have to get it out. And that's how I am with my pitch decks.
yeah.
Okay.
That's how I am too. I find myself like kind of like laying there sometimes and being like, that's what I should do with it.
Yeah.
That's where it should go. I was stuck. Now I know where it should go. And then I'll end up getting up and opening my MacBook and writing down that sentence, that thought, so I
Yeah.
can go back the next day and actually add it into the screenplay,
Yeah.
which is a much different thing than just writing down the thought itself. I mean, you have to follow a whole bunch of, formatting rules and stuff. But in the end it becomes what it becomes, and and so I'm pretty proud of them as they are right now, um and we'll see what happens. That's the whole. And I know how you said, oh, you don't need an agent and this and that, and you know what, I probably don't, but it might make things a little bit easier,
Well, this is
so
true. This is well when I
yeah,
said that, it's me, like you're doing the damn
You're
thing.
doing.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
You're doing it, especially to be in Barnes and Nobles as many times as
Yes.
you have.
And you got your own table in
Yeah,
Barnes and Nobles. That
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
huge.
Right. And
yeah,
that's
yeah. They're
and a
super
lot of
nice over there.
people, don't they have to get an agent to get that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
yeah.
you're doing good, to do it on your own, you're doing good.
Hmm.
You're
Yeah.
doing
Yeah, yeah. I like to book a lot of things for myself, and I like to do that kind of thing. I've been doing it for years because I played in a band for so long that it was just easy to make connections.
Yeah.
So now I just try to make more connections. I try to be personable. I try to, give a product that has a point, right? And
Mhm.
usually, hopefully, a very good point. One that can change people's lives. That's usually what people gravitate towards.
right.
So, so tell the people where they can find you and where they can find your books. We already said Barnes and Noble, but you could tell them again.
Right. So Endless Fall, Abused, and Home are all available on Barnes and Noble. Home is only available on Barnes and Noble exclusively until February 20th, and then it will be released worldwide. That's a deal that I have going on with them right now.
Yeah.
So, and then I have a book signing at Barnes and Noble in New Hartford on the 21st, Saturday from 4 to 7. And then next week, I have radio appearances all week, 95.5, 107, 100.7, and 92.7 The Drive. And then I'm going to take some time off, I think.
Good for you. Good for you.
People
Go rest.
they're like, take a vacation, take some time.
Yes.
And my wife was like, have you actually taken a vacation? No, you haven't. You haven't taken a vacation yet. Like, just take some time off. And so I think I'm going to take like maybe 3 months off and just work on the agents and moving the screenplays forward in that time. And,
Okay.
and then we'll release another book in August, September, something like that.
Okay, but that's not really taking time off though. You just moving,
Well,
shipping it to another place, but it's not really taking time off.
hey, you
Just,
know how we are. You
just
know
so
how
you
we
know.
are.
I mean, I
Us
know how
taking
we
a
are,
break is not
but
really taking a break. You know what I
you
mean?
never take a break. You
Yeah,
know,
no,
it
no.
just really and
It's
it's
it's a nice thing you tell yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly,
I'm gonna
I'm
take a
great. I'm
vacation,
working.
but I'm not
Yeah.
really going
I'm still working.
to.
Yeah.
Whatever.
exactly,
I'll keep
exactly.
working.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, we
That's
appreciate
how
you,
it
and
is.
yes, we appreciate you, and thank you so much for coming on. Like, you're now family,
Oh
so
yeah, of course. So are you guys. That's why you're in the books, man. It's like you gotta have it like that. I mean, you guys are the best.
yeah, we appreciate that. We appreciate that. Well, hang out for a minute. We're gonna close out, and we're gonna come all together and just say some final words and part our ways. Parteth thy ways tonight.
Ah, no, you not. No, you didn't. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah, no problem.
All
Thank
Thank
right,
you.
you.
T, thank
All right,
you.
bye. Oh
Oh,
my goodness. Wow. That book really sounds interesting.
yes, it is a
Definitely
it is
sounds
definitely like,
I am definitely gonna
and
add
I
it.
don't like horror stuff.
You know what? I don't really like horror either. But
Yeah.
like I told you, I'm not gonna lie. I have not read a book and I don't know how long. One is that I really just don't have the time. All right.
Mm.
I just, I think, you know what? I really think I need to go see somebody. I really do because I have this guilt. Like if I'm laying in bed on a Saturday morning and it's
Yeah.
like 11 o'clock and I'm like, I'm so tired. And I'm like, no, it's like something about, you should be up creating some stickers. You should be working on that pitch deck. It's like, like everything's always something, something, something.
Yeah.
And even if I sit down and open up, now, yeah, you're reading this book, but you need to be working on so and so and so and so.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's something, and it's like, so I have to like I say, take a vacation from everything.
Yeah.
But that don't even work because even like when I go on my cruises and things like that, what I do, I
Take
take my
work with
laptop,
you.
I sit on the balcony with the waves and the ocean and just whatever, and I'm writing. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you never take a break. You never take a break. But I have to this summer. I have to find time to just get back into some reading. I have to, so just reading other people's stuff, not my stuff, but other people's stuff. That is my goal, to do that this when it gets warmer, Mother Nature, and I can go out on the terrace, Mother Nature, if you're listening. But anyway,
Mother Nature doing her own thing right now. I hear you, but I don't hear you.
Getting on my damn nerves. All right, y'all. Well, it's been real.
Yes.
Well, you don't wear wigs, but sometimes when you wear a wig and that little straight and you got on lip gloss or whatever, and that little
it gets stuck.
You can't find it and whatnot.
Oh, we have to shout out the Squirrel Vision Network. I didn't do it earlier. Shout out to Squirrel Vision Network. We appreciate you guys there. For those that don't know any of our past recordings, you can go back and watch them all and on the Squirrel Vision Network. So just type it into your search engine, download it, and watch the Shameless plug, and we appreciate it.
Hold up, Peter. You got a buyer right already. She want to read your book, The End of the World, and you ain't even finished writing it. All right.
All right. So
okay.
Yes. So Nakia, when he's done, we'll let you know.
Yes.
But it's most likely going to be at Barnes and Nobles anyway. So, but yes, Peter, you got somebody ready for your next book. That's awesome.
That's awesome. All right. Get it home. I think you got to start with home. So get home.
Home. And read the first book, The Endless. What is it? The Endless Flow. Yes, read that. And then the next one is Abused and Home.
Yes, you got to read those. All right. Wow, I love it. See, you never know who we gonna reach. You never know. Okay, this is what I'm talking about.
Thank you, Nikita.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
All right, y'all. She said, "I love Barnes and Nobles." We all love Barnes and Nobles. All right.
I could stay in Barnes and Nobles all day and be happy.
I know. I gotta work. You know what? I gotta get me a book out because this is a shame. I have all of those books. This is what I'm saying. I've been writing books since 2000, and I have never been in Barnes and Nobles. I have never did a book sign or anything. I'm just so listen. I gotta get it together.
Before I forget, if you don't mind, let me take a moment to people out there. We have she's our sister from Brooklyn, Tamika Melvin. If you don't cop her book called A Betrayal of Trust, please listen, get it, read it, and let us know what you think of it.
So why she ain't on here talking about it?
I know we're gonna get her on. We're gonna get her on. Her work schedule is different. We might have to actually not have her on live and do a recording. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the only reason why. Yeah.
Okay.
Cop her book, Betrayal of Trust. You trust me. I when I say I read that, I was like this. A book is good when you take the book with you to the bathroom. I ain't gonna lie. Listen,
ain't nothing wrong with it. You're gonna be in there a couple of minutes. You can get 5-10 pages going, right?
That's when you got a good book.
You can get at least 5-10 pages in there while you're in there, right?
All right. Listen, that book stayed in my bag.
This is what we're all about. The Shameless plug. She said, "What's her name?"
It is Tamika Melvin.
Tamika Melvin.
Yes, and it is called Betrayal of Trust. Y'all gonna just trust me, read it. You gonna get mad. It's one of them type of books. Yeah.
Listen, this is what we are all about. We are all about here to highlight your hustle.
Yes.
So it says we ain't even tell them how to get in touch with us. Wait, hold on. I got it.
Before while you get that up. So if you have a hustle that you want to shine the light on,
shine a light on them. Hey, shine a light on them. Hey, shine a light on them. Hey.
So if you have a hustle, whether you're an author, filmmaker, whatever you are doing, join us. Let us interview you. Shine a light on what you're doing. But contact us at the Shameless Plug Podcast 25@gmail.com. Leave us a picture of you, your bio. We'll get back to you so we can get you on the show. We are all about promoting and uplifting one another, no matter what it is you're doing in your life. So come on the show. We just have a good time. We just chop it up. It's we're not formal like that. We'll ask you a couple of questions here and there, but
I know, right? We keep it real. We keep it real.
We do.
All right, y'all. Thank you. We appreciate it. Season 2, episode number 6 is now done. We look forward to seeing you next week, Tuesday. We don't have too many more Tuesdays because in March we're shifting to
Thursday.
Yes, we're going to shift to Thursday. So, but listen, you can find us here 8 o'clock Tuesday, the Shameless Plug podcast. I am Deneen Akana.
I am Denitra Taylor Everett. Y'all take care.
Y'all take care. All right. As soon as I find the promo, we're going to be out of here. Bye.
Welcome to the Shameless Plug with Crimson Vibes and Deneen's Creative Mind.
We spotlight the real, no shame in the game. 2 queens with the mic calling out your name. From side hustle dreams to headline steam. We raise your voice, we build your team. We don't whisper, we amplify. Your story's power can't touch the sky. This ain't luck, it's divine design. You show up and we align. This is the Shameless Plug, we show you love. Co-sign, you shine like stars above. Denitra and Deneen, the dream tag team. Plugged in, turned up, shameless and supreme. Let them watch you break the mold. Your biz, your brand, your story told. You're next, you're bold, the space is yours. We open paths, unlock new doors. No filters needed, just your flame. We hype your purpose, speak your name.